The moment she leaned in, her breath trembling against my ear, my whole world went silent. "Kiss me," she whispered, her fingers tightening around my sleeve. "Everyone is watching, or they'll know we're just pretending." I didn't even have time to ask what she meant before I felt the weight of dozens of eyes on us. The room was glowing with soft lights, laughter, music, but suddenly it felt like a stage, and we were the main act. My heart pounded like it was trying to escape my chest. Because the truth was, she wasn't lying. We were pretending. And if I didn't kiss her right then, whatever fragile reason brought us here would shatter in front of everyone. So I did. I kissed her. And in that single second, something I never expected began to change. It wasn't supposed to feel real. But it did. It felt like warmth after a lifetime of cold. And I knew, deep down, this kiss wasn't just for show. It was the beginning of something neither of us was ready for. I had only agreed to come tonight because she sounded desperate on the phone earlier. "Please," she said. "Just come with me. I need someone, anyone." Maya was my neighbor, technically. We lived in the same building for almost a year, exchanging polite nods, small smiles, nothing more. She was the kind of woman who looked like she had everything together, elegant, confident, always moving with purpose. I was the opposite. A man still rebuilding after life knocked him down. A man who kept his head low, worked long hours, and avoided attention. So when she asked me to pretend to be her boyfriend at her company engagement party, I thought it was ridiculous. But then she added something that made my stomach drop. "My ex will be there. And he won't stop." I didn't ask questions. I just showed up. Now here we were, surrounded by strangers dressed in expensive clothes, and Maya's hand was trembling in mine like she was holding on to the last thread of safety. The kiss ended, but the closeness stayed. Her eyes searched mine, and for a second, the mask slipped. She wasn't just acting. She was terrified. I leaned closer, my voice low. "Are you okay?" She forced a smile for the crowd. "Just keep playing along." Before I could respond, a voice cut through the noise. "Well, well." A man stepped forward, tall, sharp smile, expensive suit. His eyes weren't friendly. They were hunting. "Maya," he said smoothly. "So this is him?" Her grip tightened. I knew immediately. This was the ex. The one she feared. She lifted her chin. "Yes. This is Adam." I nodded politely. He laughed like I was a joke. "You downgraded." Maya's face flickered, pain flashing behind her eyes, but she didn't respond. I felt something unfamiliar rise in my chest. Protectiveness. Not because I was pretending. Because no one deserved to be looked at like that. "She didn't downgrade," I said calmly. "She moved on." His smile hardened. "Oh, she moves on quickly, doesn't she? Tell me, Adam, do you even know her? Or are you just tonight's accessory?" The room felt tighter, smaller. People were watching now, pretending not to. Maya leaned close again, whispering so only I could hear. "Please, don't leave me alone with him." That whisper hit harder than the kiss. It wasn't about appearances anymore. It was about survival. So I stayed. All night, I stayed. I kept my hand on her back, steady and warm. I laughed when she laughed. I spoke when she couldn't. And slowly, I felt her breathing calm. But something else was happening too. Every time she looked at me with gratitude. Every time her fingers brushed mine. The pretending started to blur. At the end of the night, when we finally stepped outside into the cool air, Maya exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for years. "Thank you," she murmured. "You didn't have to do that." "Yes," I said quietly. "I did." She looked at me, confusion in her eyes. Why? I hesitated. Because the answer wasn't simple. Because I didn't fully know myself. But I said the truth anyway. Because no one should feel that alone. Her expression cracked. For the first time, the strong, polished Maya was gone. And the real woman stood in front of me. Soft. Wounded. Human. I thought I could handle him, she whispered. But he always finds a way to make me feel small. I swallowed hard. You're not small. Her eyes shimmered. I don't even know why you helped me. I almost laughed bitterly. Because I didn't know why either. I was just a man who thought he had nothing left to give. Yet somehow, standing beside her made me feel like maybe I still mattered. She wrapped her arms around herself, staring down at the sidewalk. It was supposed to be fake, she said. The words hung between us. I nodded slowly. Yeah. Then she looked up, voice trembling. But that kiss. My breath caught. That kiss didn't feel fake. Neither did mine. Silence stretched. The city hummed around us. And then she whispered something I'll never forget. What if, pretending was the only way we could admit we needed someone? My chest tightened. Because she wasn't just talking about her ex. She was talking about loneliness. About fear. About the invisible ache people carry quietly. I stepped closer, not as her fake boyfriend. But as myself. Maya, I said softly. You don't have to pretend with me. Her lips parted, tears threatening. But what if I'm too broken? I shook my head. Broken people don't need perfect love. They need real love. They need patience. They need someone who stays. Her breath hitched. And for the first time, she didn't ask me to kiss her because people were watching. She asked because she wanted to believe. That maybe she wasn't alone anymore. So I kissed her again. Not for an audience. Not for revenge. Not for pretending. But for hope. And in that moment, I realized something powerful. Sometimes life pushes us into fake moments. Just to lead us towards something real. Sometimes the person you meet by accident becomes the person who saves you. And sometimes the kiss that starts as a performance becomes the beginning of a love that heals everything. Because the truth is, everyone is pretending to be okay. Until someone finally holds them close enough that they don't have to anymore. And that night, under the fading lights of a party that was supposed to mean nothing, two lonely hearts stopped pretending and started living. The next morning, I woke up with the strange feeling that something in my life had shifted overnight. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just, quietly, like the world had tilted a few degrees without warning. My phone buzzed before I could even sit up. A message. From Maya. I'm sorry about last night. I didn't mean to drag you into my mess. Are you okay? I stared at the screen longer than I should have. Because the truth was, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if I was okay. I wasn't sure if she was okay. And I definitely wasn't sure what that kiss had awakened in me. I typed back. I'm fine. Are you? 3 dots appeared. Then disappeared. Then appeared again. Finally, her reply came. I haven't felt fine in a long time. That hit me harder than any insult her ex threw. Because beneath all her elegance, beneath her perfect appearance, she was carrying something heavy. I sat on the edge of my bed, rubbing my face, trying to convince myself that last night was over. That my role was done. That I could go back to being invisible. But then another message came. Can we talk? Not here. Somewhere neutral. I hesitated. I should have said no. I should have reminded her that we were neighbors, not lovers. That we barely knew each other. That pretending was safer than whatever this was becoming. But my fingers moved before my brain could catch up. Meet me at the coffee shop across the street. An hour. When I arrived, Maya was already there. No makeup. Hair pulled back loosely. A simple sweater instead of a glamorous dress. For the first time, she looked normal. And somehow, that made her even more beautiful. She looked up when I entered, her eyes soft but tired. "Hi." "Hi," I replied, sliding into the seat across from her. There was an awkward pause. The kind that only exists when two people have crossed a line and don't know how to step back. Her fingers wrapped tightly around her cup. "I didn't sleep," she admitted. "Me neither." She gave a weak laugh, then her face turned serious again. I keep replaying it. The party. Him. You. I swallowed. "Maya, you don't owe me an explanation." "Yes, I do." Her voice cracked slightly. "You have no idea what you walked into last night." The air grew heavier. She stared down at her coffee like it held answers. "My ex, his name is Ryan. He wasn't always cruel. At first, he was charming. Everyone loved him." I nodded slowly. "That's how it usually starts." Her jaw tightened. "I thought I was lucky. He made me feel chosen. Special." She paused, swallowing hard. But slowly, it turned into control. My hands clenched under the table. Control. That word carried 1,000 hidden bruises. He'd tell me what to wear. Who to talk to. He'd smile while doing it, so no one noticed. Her voice dropped. And when I tried to leave, he made sure I couldn't. I leaned forward, my heart pounding. "What do you mean?" Her eyes lifted, shimmering. "He works with people who have influence. He knows how to ruin reputations without ever touching you." I felt anger rise. "So the party?" She nodded. "He's been telling everyone I'm still his. That I'm just going through a phase. That I'll come back." Her hands trembled. I couldn't let him win. Silence stretched between us. Then I asked quietly. "Why me?" She blinked, caught off guard. "What? Why did you call me? We're not close." "You could have asked anyone." Her lips parted, but no words came at first. Then she whispered. "Because you never look at me like I'm something to own." My chest tightened. She continued, voice softer. "You look at me like I'm just a person." I didn't know what to say to that. Because I wasn't used to being someone's safe place. I was used to being alone. Maya exhaled shakily. "I'm sorry for using you." "You didn't use me," I said before I could stop myself. She looked up sharply. "I did." I shook my head. "You were scared. That's not using. That's surviving." Her eyes filled. "And what about the kiss?" The question hung like a fragile glass ornament. One wrong word could shatter it. I hesitated. Then admitted the truth. It didn't feel fake. Her breath caught. "I didn't want it to feel real," she whispered. "Because real means complicated." I gave a humorless smile. "Life is complicated." She laughed softly, wiping her cheek. "I'm not ready for real, Adam. I'm still trying to breathe." I nodded, understanding more than she knew. "I'm not asking you for anything." Her gaze searched mine. "Then why are you here?" I leaned back, voice quiet. "Because last night I saw someone trying so hard not to break. And I couldn't walk away." Her lips trembled. No one spoke for a while. Outside, People walked by, living their ordinary lives. Inside, Maya looked like she was standing on the edge of something terrifying. Finally, she whispered. "He's not going to stop." My stomach tightened. "What do you mean?" Her voice was barely audible. "He sent me a message this morning." She pulled out her phone and slid it across the table. I read the text. "You can borrow a boyfriend for a night, Maya. But you'll always belong to me. And he'll learn that too." My blood went cold. I looked up. "Maya, this isn't just jealousy. This is obsession." Tears slipped down her cheeks. "I know." I pushed the phone back gently. "Have you told anyone? Friends? Family?" She shook her head. "He's too good at twisting things. People believe him." I felt something settle inside me then. A decision. Not loud. Not heroic. Just firm. "You're not doing this alone anymore." Her eyes widened. "Adam, you don't have to." "Yes," I said softly. "I do." Her voice broke. "Why?" I stared at her, my own throat tightening. "Because I know what it feels like to think no one will show up for you." She froze. I hadn't meant to reveal that much. But it was true. I'd spent years feeling invisible. And somehow, in helping her, I was finally stepping into the light. Maya's lips trembled. "You barely know me." "I know enough," I replied. "Enough to know you deserve peace." She looked at me like she couldn't believe kindness was real. And then, very quietly, she asked, "What if you get hurt because of me?" I leaned closer, lowering my voice. "Then at least it will be for something that matters." Her eyes filled again, but this time, something else was there too. Hope. Fear. And a warmth neither of us wanted to name. Outside the window, the world kept moving. But inside that small coffee shop, two people who had been pretending for too long were starting to face something real. And neither of us knew it yet. But Ryan wasn't finished. Not even close. Because the next time Maya whispered my name, it wouldn't be in a crowded room. It would be in the dark. When no one was watching. And the danger was no longer pretend. That evening, I couldn't focus on anything. Not the emails piling up. Not the noise outside my apartment. Not even the dinner sitting untouched on my table. All I could see was that message on Maya's phone. "You'll always belong to me." Those words weren't just toxic. They were dangerous. Around midnight, I heard a soft knock at my door. Not loud. Not urgent. Just, hesitant. My heart jumped as I opened it. Maya stood there, wrapped in a hoodie, her face pale like she'd been running from something invisible. "Adam," she whispered. I stepped aside immediately. "Come in." The second she crossed the threshold, she exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for miles. "I'm sorry," she said quickly. "I know it's late, I didn't know where else to go." My stomach tightened. "What happened?" She shook her head, struggling to speak. "I was driving home, and I saw his car behind me. Cold flooded my veins." "Ryan?" She nodded, eyes shining. "He followed me. Not close enough to crash, but close enough so I'd know." Fear had a sound. It was the tremble in her voice. I guided her to the couch. "Did he do anything else?" She swallowed hard. "He didn't have to. That's the worst part." She hugged her knees tightly, like she could make herself smaller. "He just wanted me to feel it. That he's still there." I sat across from her, hands clenched. "This isn't normal. This is stalking." Maya's laugh was bitter. "To him, it's love." That's what he tells everyone. That he just cares too much. I leaned forward. Maya, you need to report this. Her head snapped up. And say what? That my ex is watching me? That he sent texts? They'll tell me to block him and move on. Her voice cracked. He knows how to stay just inside the line. Enough to scare me, not enough to get arrested. The room fell silent. Then, very quietly, she whispered. I'm tired, Adam. Not sleepy tired. Soul tired. The kind of tired that comes from carrying fear every day. I softened my voice. You can rest here tonight. Her eyes widened. No, I can't. Yes, I said firmly. You can. You're safe here. Something in her face broke. She pressed a hand over her mouth as tears spilled. I hate this, she sobbed. I hate that I need saving. I moved closer, carefully, like approaching a wounded animal. You don't need saving, I said gently. You need support. There's a difference. Her shoulders shook. For a long moment, she didn't speak. Then she whispered. Do you ever wonder if broken people are too heavy to love? The question hit me like a punch. I stared at her, my throat tightening. I wonder that about myself all the time. Her eyes lifted slowly. You? I nodded. My life wasn't always quiet like this. I used to be married. Maya froze. I'd never told her that. My wife left 3 years ago, I continued, voice low. Not because she didn't love me, but because I stopped being present. Work, stress. I became a ghost in my own home. Pain flickered across my chest. She told me, I feel alone even when you're beside me. And then she was gone. Maya's expression softened. I'm sorry. I gave a sad smile. It taught me something. What? That loneliness doesn't always come from being alone. She swallowed hard. It comes from feeling unseen. Our eyes locked. And for the first time, Maya wasn't just the woman in trouble. She was someone who understood. The silence between us wasn't awkward anymore. It was heavy with unspoken truths. Then her voice trembled. Adam, what are we doing? I exhaled slowly. I don't know. She looked down. I asked you to pretend. And now? She shook her head. Now I don't know where pretending ends. My chest tightened. Maya. She stood suddenly, pacing a step away like she couldn't sit with her own feelings. This isn't fair. You didn't ask for this. I'm still here, I said quietly. She turned, eyes shining. Why? That question again. Always why? As if kindness needed a reason. I stood too, closing the distance between us. Because when you looked at me last night, you weren't acting. Her breath caught. And neither was I. Her lips parted, trembling. Adam, he's dangerous. I know. You could get hurt. I know. Her voice broke. Then why won't you leave? I stared at her, my voice barely above a whisper. Because I think, you're worth staying for. Maya's face crumpled. Tears slid down again, but she didn't wipe them away. She stepped closer. So close I could feel her shaking. I'm scared, she admitted. I'm scared too, I whispered back. Her hands hovered near my chest, uncertain. Tell me this is real, she whispered. And God help me. I wanted it to be. I lifted my hand, brushing her cheek gently. It's real, I said. Not perfect. Not safe. But real. Her eyes fluttered shut. And then she kissed me. Not like the party. Not like a performance. This kiss was trembling and raw, full of fear and hope tangled together. For a moment, the world disappeared. No Ryan. No pretending. Just two people holding on to something warm in the dark. When we pulled apart, Maya rested her forehead against mine. "I don't want to be alone anymore," she whispered. My heart clenched. "You won't be." But even as I said it, a sharp sound cut through the night. A buzz. My phone. Unknown number. I frowned and answered cautiously. "Hello?" Silence. Then, a slow chuckle. My blood turned to ice. "You're brave," a voice murmured. "Ryan." Maya's eyes widened in horror. He continued, smooth and cruel. "But bravery can be expensive." I swallowed hard. "How did you get this number?" Ryan laughed softly. "I know more than you think." Then his voice dropped, deadly calm. "Tell Maya, pretending has consequences." The line went dead. Maya covered her mouth, shaking. I stared at the phone, my pulse roaring. This wasn't a jealous ex anymore. This was a man who didn't understand limits. And as Maya clung to me in silent terror, I realized something terrifying. This story wasn't building toward a romance. It was building toward a fight. And the next chapter of our lives would test whether love could survive fear. Because Ryan wasn't watching from a distance anymore. He was stepping closer. And the danger was about to become real. That night, neither of us slept. Maya sat curled up on the couch, her arms wrapped tightly around herself like she could hold the fear inside her chest. I stayed near her, pretending my calm was real, even though my mind was racing in circles. Ryan had my number. That wasn't an accident. That was a message. He wasn't just trying to scare Maya anymore. He was trying to claim territory. To remind her that anyone who stepped close would be pulled into his storm. Around 3 a.m., Maya finally whispered, barely audible. "He's never done that before." I turned toward her. "Called someone?" She nodded slowly. "He's always stayed in the shadows. That's his favorite place, where people can't see what he really is." Her voice cracked. "But now he's coming into the light." A heavy silence settled. I exhaled deeply. "Maya, we can't keep treating this like something that will just go away." Her eyes filled again. "I know." I crouched in front of her. "We need a plan." She stared at me like she didn't believe plans worked against monsters. "What kind of plan?" I swallowed. "The kind that stops him." The next morning, the sun rose like nothing had happened. Birds chirped. Cars passed. People laughed outside cafes. The world kept spinning. Even though Maya's life felt like it was falling apart. I drove her to work, insisting she shouldn't go alone. She protested quietly, but I could see relief behind her fear. When we arrived, she hesitated before stepping out. "Adam." "Yeah? If you want to walk away, I'll understand." The words were soft, but the pain beneath them was sharp. I shook my head. "I'm not walking away." She nodded slowly, blinking back tears. "Okay." As she entered the building, I watched carefully. And that's when I saw him. Ryan. Leaning casually near the entrance like he belonged there. His eyes locked onto mine instantly. A slow smile spread across his face. Predatory. Confident. Like a man who had never been told no. My stomach tightened. I stepped forward before I could overthink it. Ryan's gaze flickered toward Maya's back, then returned to me. "So," he said smoothly. "You're real." I didn't answer. He chuckled. "I'll admit. I thought she'd pick someone taller. My jaw clenched. What do you want? He tilted his head, amused. I want what's mine. My blood boiled. She's not yours. His smile vanished for a split second, replaced by something darker. Then it returned. Oh, you don't know her like I do. I stepped closer, lowering my voice. I know enough to see she's afraid of you. Ryan's eyes hardened. Fear and love are cousins. That's not love, I snapped. That made him laugh. A cold, empty sound. You're going to learn something, Adam. He leaned in, voice silky. People like her, they don't need saving. They need owning. And she always comes back. My fists clenched. Stay away from her. Ryan's eyes gleamed. Or what? The question hung like a blade. I didn't have an answer that could scare him. Not with fists. Not with threats. Because men like Ryan thrived on violence. They wanted you to swing first. They wanted to become the victim. So I did the only thing I could. I stayed calm. You don't scare me, I said quietly. Ryan's smile twitched. Oh, I do. You just haven't realized it yet. He straightened, smoothing his suit. I'll give you a week. My heart pounded. A week for what? Ryan's eyes flickered toward the building. A week before she remembers who she belongs to. Then he walked away like he'd just discussed the weather. I stood frozen, rage burning in my chest. When Maya came out later, her face went pale the moment she saw my expression. He was here. I nodded. Her lips trembled. What did he say? I hesitated. Then told her anyway. Her shoulders sagged. He thinks I'll go back. Will you? I asked softly. The question slipped out before I could stop it. Maya looked at me, pain flashing. I don't want to. But fear is powerful, she whispered. Fear makes you do stupid things. I reached for her hand. Then we don't let fear drive. That afternoon, we went somewhere Maya hadn't dared to go before. The police station. She shook the whole time, her fingers cold in mine. At the front desk, she struggled to speak, but I stayed beside her. Not as a fake boyfriend. As support. As real. When she finally showed them the texts, explained the following, the calls. The officer's face grew serious. This is harassment, he said. And it can escalate. Maya swallowed hard. So you believe me? The officer nodded. We do. We'll file a report. And we can help you get a restraining order. Maya's eyes filled with tears again. Not from fear this time. From relief. Outside the station, she stopped and looked up at the sky like she'd forgotten it existed. I actually did it, she whispered. You did, I said. She turned toward me, voice trembling. I thought no one would. I stepped closer. You're not alone anymore. For a moment, she just stared at me. Then she whispered. Adam. Yeah. What if, this is the first time I've ever been truly free? The words shattered something inside me. Because freedom wasn't just about Ryan.